This is the KWL charts by Ashley Maybee for EDU 5373 for Professor Bandre. What is a KWL chart? A KWL chart is a chart to help teachers activate students' background knowledge. This chart helps teachers and students organize their thoughts and questions on a topic they are learning about. What does the K, the W, and the L stand for? In a KWL chart, the K stands for what we know. The W stands for what we want to learn. And finally, the L stands for what we have learned. How can I use a KWL chart? A KWL chart is perfect to use for every grade level. A KWL chart is good for grades ranging from pre-K to on up, even through high school. These can also be used for specialist groups such as ELLs and special education. Any type of group or any student is able to use a KWL chart, and it will be beneficial for them and for their learning. This chart, or this can be a chart that the teacher does. The teacher can do it as a whole group with the whole class. The teacher can also choose to do it in maybe small groups during small group time, or if you have students working on certain topics, you could create a KWL chart with each of these students in their small groups. You can also have students create their own charts individually. This can be done kind of like with the small group if you were having students work in teams or in partners or in groups, or if the students are doing individual topics of study, they have the choice of creating or doing a KWL chart individually before they get started on their specific unit or topic of study. A KWL chart will take several weeks to complete. This is because they are designed to be used with thematic units. Now, saying that, I have also done when we're doing specific holidays or different days that we're doing stuff in the classroom, such as Valentine's Day. You can always create, in my classroom, I like to have a Valentine's Day mini unit. I do either the week before, you can kind of get those students prior knowledge going by starting the KWL chart, or you can even do it that day with them. But during those days, I like to make my whole day focused around Valentine's Day or focused around Earth Day. And so every literacy station or math station, they're somewhat involved with Valentine's Day activities. But throughout the whole day, they're learning new topics and new ideas and details about Valentine's Day that you can add onto the chart at the end of the day. So it really doesn't have to be done in several weeks. You can complete it sooner than several weeks, but they are designed to be used with thematic units. Why should we use KWL charts? We should use KWL charts because this instructional strategy helps students gather background knowledge about specific subjects. So when you are up there with them, this is allowing their schema and their background knowledge to come out of what they might know about a topic. One thing that I have had teachers come to me and I've had questions about myself is when it comes to the K part, do we write anything that the student says? And yes, so this is any even misconceptions you can write up there under what they know, because this is students gathering all the background knowledge that they know of this specific topic. This strategy also helps students with their vocabulary related to the thematic unit. So it helps build their vocabulary. That's why this is also very good for ELL students, because it's building on their vocabulary, and we all know that vocabulary is very important. Why else should we use KWL charts? When students are creating a KWL chart, they are becoming motivated and they're becoming more engaged in the learning process. And this is because they are actually involved with creating this organizer. My kids love doing KWL charts, and I have every student that raises their hands that wants to share what they know or what they want to know. And I make it fun and interesting, and there's no right or wrong answer with the KWL charts. This is something that they all can have a positive say in, and they all can give an opinion or give something that they know that they've already learned about the topic. When do I use a KWL chart? Teachers need to use a KWL chart at the beginning of nonfiction units. So this is back to what I kind of said earlier. These are used with thematic units. This is a good way to also tie in science and social studies in with the literacy or English language arts, because you can bring those topics and create a KWL chart, so you're integrating the subjects. Also, we can also use it when teachers can use only the K and the L columns or the W and the L columns, depending on how much time they have or what they are trying to have their students achieve. So one example that it said in the book was, if you are in a hurry and you don't have that much time, then you can just skip the W part and you can just have the students write what they know and then what they've learned. Or you can have them write what they want to know, and then after learning about something, they can write what they've learned. So you can kind of tweak this chart to how you want and what works best for you. Can I differentiate using a KWL chart? There are so many ways that you can use a KWL chart. One important thing to remember is these charts really help out ELL students. They help them by activating their prior knowledge and building up their vocabulary. This helps them get introduced to more words that they may not have been introduced to if you did not do the KWL chart. One thing that is also beneficial with this in ELL students is when they hear their peers give new vocabulary words or new ideas, students learn better from their peers, and so this can also be very influential to them. Another way that we can differentiate is by having students make their own KWL flip chart books. On the next slide, I have an example of this. And the last way that we can another way we can differentiate is having the students, so as a whole group, they could each have their own individual KWL charts at their desk or on a whiteboard on the carpet with you, filling in the K as you're filling in the K, filling in the W as you're filling in the W, and then after the unit of study, leave it up to the students to write what they have personally learned throughout the unit. I know with me teaching kindergarten, sometimes it's harder for them to write their words. So you could always have them draw pictures maybe of something that they learned. And when you go to talk to them about it, they can explain it to you, and you could always jot down notes. For the older students, this would be obviously something they can do on their own, and they could write in sentences of things that they had personally learned. So this way, they're tying their learning it into themselves personally, and they're making their learning more personalized. This was an example of the KWL flip book, and I did get this out of the book, but I really, really liked this idea. And the example that they gave us in the book was for a fourth grade class, but this could be adapted for any grade level. But you can see and it makes it more fun. It's more foldable for the students, so they can write under the K. Lift up the K, write the things that they want to know. Put it down, lift up the W, write the things that they want to know. And then put it down, and then under the L, lift it up after they get done and write down the things that they have learned. So I thought this was an awesome idea. How can I use the KWL charts in my classroom? Like I said earlier, I teach kindergarten. I find that the KWL charts to be they're extremely useful in my classroom. We use them for every thematic nonfiction unit. I always start with them at the opening day of the unit, so that's what I do. And this is kind of a way to get your students pulled in. It's a very good anticipatory set for them because they love it, they're wanting to learn more, and they just get very involved. The next few slides, I'm going to show you a KWL chart that I did in my own classroom. This was a week before Earth Day. My students started the KWL chart. We began by completing the K portion of the chart, so you can see the different questions. And again, in kindergarten, some of the stuff you get is pretty funny. But this is what they knew already about Earth Day. This is the W portion of the chart, and this is what they wanted to learn about Earth Day. So you can see. And it was really cute. One of my students, her baby brother was born 2 days ago, so she had the last question asking, why don't we breathe when we first come into the earth? So I'm sure that had something to do with that. And then this is the final. This is the L, what we have learned about Earth Day, and we completed this after our mini unit. Oh, also with the L portion of it, any questions that we might have had throughout the week, we answered those questions. We looked at that first under the W. Also, any misconceptions that the kids might have had. This is where we took the time to clear those misconceptions up. Variations of the KWL chart. There is a lot of variations of the KWL chart. There's been many adaptations to them. The first one, I'll share some of the ones that I found. The first one was created by Hill. He added a section called Further Wanderings, and this way the students could continue to learn about the unit on their own. Another way that it has been adapted is the KLEW chart, and the K and the L stand for the same things, what we know, what we've learned. The E stands for evidence that supported their learning, and the W stands for wondering. So again, it lets them ask further questions. The Common Core does relate to the KWL charts do relate to the Common Core state standards. As you can see, it deals with informational text and writing. Thank you for watching this. I'm sure everyone has used the KWL chart in our units of study at some point during our teaching. If not, I highly suggest them. They are amazing, and if you have any questions about them, please feel free to ask. Thank you for watching. My Works Cited page.